Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to bring to your attention our musical style called combo. Combo is a musical style which is a combination of various musical genres, so you'll never know what you're going to hear. So we suggest you just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Don't you know God is calling? He's calling on you. So you better get ready. He's waiting on you.
It's not a dream, although it seems to me that is waiting. He's waiting on you and me, you and me, you and me.
Now if I were you, I would change my life and get together. Because there's no more time to wait.
It's not a game. What's happening in the world today? It's not a joke. This lifestyle will choke you, will take you away. Can't you tell God is calling? He shows you every day. Well, He left His words on record to show us the way. And what will you do to show you how you love Him? He's done much for you. How do you think you ever made it through? Don't you know that I'm talking about my God. He's your only friend, and I know that He will guide you. He'll be right there beside you until the end. Y'all gotta excuse me, but I gotta thank my God for combo. I want you to listen to me, cause Yah's trying to tell you something, yeah. With all this trouble in this world, said He's calling, but you won't pick up the line. He's calling, said He's calling, He's calling, He's calling, He's calling on you, and especially you. Yah is calling, oh yes He is. He said, if the wicked turn from his wicked ways, and he does that which is lawful and right,
My name is Cohen Mikhael Ben Levi of the Hebrew family of Guyana. The aim of these dissertations is to cause the true house of Israel, who have been without knowledge of themselves for countless generations, and who are now being awakened by the God of the universe, to better serve our Creator. It is our hope that by reacquainting this awakening black nation with their laws and former history, it will hasten our return to our true identity, thereby acknowledging our ancient ancestors. This in turn will allow us to know our Father's God and prepare us to stand together to meet the terrible day of the Creator that He is now readying for all mankind. May He cause all your minds and hearts to understand.
Shabbat Shalom Lakim. May the Holy One of Israel bless all of you, the families across this planet that have experienced the loss of a loved one. May He comfort all of you who have health challenges, troubles of the many sorts that are on the planet today. Shabbat Shalom Lakim. I would like to begin by saying that last week program that I did was removed. They've given reasons, but I think we all know what the true reason behind it is. Our truth is a human right that is being denied, and perhaps today will be the last program that I will be doing on this format of YouTube. They're trying to curtail the truth and what can be shared with our people. We have been indoctrinated, which means the teachings forced upon African slaves everywhere are imbued with partisan or sectarian opinions, points of view, and principles that are against truth. Church partisanship is blind, and it's unreasoning allegiance against the truth. It is an unreasoning allegiance against the truth. This conspiracy is far and wide. Religious sects, they are limited in scope and thought. They're lacking fidelity. They're not honest in telling the truth. So programs like this, which are constant steadfastness of mind, a state of being unchanging in terms of the message that I share with you each and every week. It will perhaps be no longer done on the Shabbat day, but we'll be reaching out to tell you the format that I'll be using during the week, perhaps via a website or a Zoom. We must realize that the teachings that I've shared with you are faithful. You can trust in them because they're verifiable. They're being substantiated with the scriptures itself. The accuracy and details is what they fear, the exactness of what is being said. They know that these utterances and these speeches are words, that they're orally being related, but they know that they're sincere, that what I'm saying is truthful and it's coming from my heart. I have written ways of doing it, and I will resort to writing more, sharing it, and making it available to our people. They're against the standard. This standard is established by law, by the Torah. They understand that the authority of the Creator, who rules is the one that we must use in his standard of the Torah to measure the criteria. It's the yardstick. It's the means of determining what truth is in this case. This proposition that I share with you each week is something offered for your consideration or acceptance. Our people, as well as all mankind. This presentation is an expression in language that can be believed, doubted, denied, and you can determine whether it's true or false. It's not being forced upon you or upon anyone else. On the other hand, when it comes to untruth, they're disloyal. They lack truthfulness. They lack, again, and they are, as we all know, falsities, falsehood, something that is untrue. And so lacking fidelity is nothing short of lies. And this program exposes the lies. And this is why it's a problem to those that are in power that listen to this program. It's loyal to our people and loyal to Yah. What I'm saying, they know it's honest and just, the words that I speak. And so they are against this program and what it represents. Our truth is a human right. And I'd like you to go to the book of Exodus to understand what we must know about our truth, because the truth will set our minds free. And in the book of Exodus, the 18th chapter, beginning at verse 20 through 23, we find these words.
And thou shalt teach them the statutes and the laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yah, men of truth, hating unjust gain, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge themselves. So shall they make it easier for thee and bear the burden with thee.
We had a government that was established by Yah when we came out of the land of Egypt. And it was based on having a government with men of integrity. Our people had to rule themselves. We were not ruled by foreigners, even though for over 400 years we had been under the rule of the Egyptians. But as Moshe began to set up the government based upon a constitution from the maker of heaven and earth, we were shown how to govern ourselves in righteousness. This is the truth that we must know about ourselves. They do not want us to be a righteous people, men and women of integrity and honorable people, and having virtue and character that is righteous. And they don't want anyone to teach you that this is the way we must live, because if we turn to righteousness, they can no longer hold us under their evil grasp and keep us in ignorance. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, we learn about where our allegiance and loyalty must be. It must be to Yah, and this is the truth. We cannot make it as a people without understanding that what they call God for us is Yah, and he's the maker of heaven and earth. And we must obey and live by the Constitution, by the rules that he's given us as a people. And it has to be constantly, consistently told to us. which is what our program does. We are sincere, not only in our words, but in our actions. Our character must match our utterances in the speech that comes out of our mouths. This is a fact. And the body of real things, events, are facts. It's our actuality that I teach and speak about. It's our spiritual reality that I'm expressing in these programs. And the enemies are against this. Listen to this truth, our truth, in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, verses 4 through 6, which speaks on this wise.
The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are justice, a power of faithfulness and without iniquity. Just and right is he. Is corruption his? No, his children's is the blemish, a generation crooked and perverse. Do ye thus requite Yah, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath gotten thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee?
This is the truth. We would never be in existence without the maker of heaven and earth. Our people must know he's been our dwelling place in all generations. We must lean upon him and not upon Egypt, nor modern Babylon in these days and times. Our salvation, our deliverance, our help is in the maker of heaven and earth. They want us to continue worshiping idols. They don't want someone like myself to tell you otherwise. Their hold upon us is on our minds, not yoked with chains about our necks, hands, and ankles. They've yoked our minds. They don't want us to know that corruption is not in the Creator, it's in his children. That is why we're suffering today, because of the evil things that we've done in the past and the evil that we continue to do with one another, perpetrating evil upon ourselves. They don't want us to escape this path that we have walked in. For hundreds, perhaps even thousands of years, we have been rebellious against truth, our truth. And they don't want us to even exercise the human right to speak the truth to our people. And so I hope you understand that, sometimes you're on a job and the boss talks about firing you. No, I like to fire the job. So rather than let them take us off the air, which I know they're going to do because the programs I have in the future to speak about, I have no doubt they've only heard the little light things. The heavier things, I have to be very cautious every time I speak to you to know and understand that it's going to rub them in the wrong way. And so rather than have them take me off the YouTube, I have to do like others have done and find another platform and a way to reach our people. And you will be informed about it. In particular, I'm speaking right now to all those wonderful brothers and sisters that have contacted me and expressed how appreciative you are of what I'm sharing with you, how it has changed your lives. And I intend to continue to reach you and let you know how you can hear the things that I want to share with you, to bring you into the knowledge that so many others of our people already have gained, many who have listened to me over the years in buildings and in congregations. And the internet is supposed to be the place where everyone can speak their minds on YouTube, but we all know that's not true because they shut down speakers like me that share truth. They removed them and banned them off the internet. And people that speak the lies against them, they attack them as well. So you have to understand that there are forces that continue to work against us because the conspiracy is strong and it still exists and it's not going anywhere. This is why we have to support one another. I need your support and your understanding to make the changes, because hearing the truth is one thing, but applying the truth is more important. It's essential that we live a righteous life as a people, that we be family oriented and understand how important it is for us to have unity and to stick together. Truth is not complicated. Listen to the words of Joshua in the 24th chapter, Yehoshua. They've even named their deity as though he would be the savior. Moshe changed his name from Hosea to Yehoshua, meaning he will save, and he led us out of Egypt. Rather than Moshe going into the promised land, it was Yehoshua, this great prophet. And even he was discouraged about our sticking to the truth, obeying the instructions that Moshe had brought to us on Mount Sinai and on Mount Horeb. We have to acknowledge our wrong. It starts with us changing our ways and returning back to the Holy One of Israel. Joshua told the people, you can't serve Yah. And listen to his own words that begin in the 24th chapter of the book of Yehoshua.
And Yehoshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers. And they presented themselves before Elohim. And Yehoshua said unto all the people, thus saith Jehovah, the power of Israel, your fathers dwelt of old time beyond the river, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nahor, and they served other gods. And I took your father Abraham from beyond the river
Euphrates,
all the land of Canaan.
And he brought us from the idol worship of Terah, Abraham's father, across the Euphrates, brought us into Northeast Africa, and told us not to serve those other gods that Abraham's father. That's why Abraham is such a great progenitor. He's the one that we must understood, and so he was made to have a covenant with the Creator because he believed in Yah. He trusted in Yah. He was faithful to Yah, and he did not have the Torah. And we, Yah thought, would be like unto him, but we corrupted our ways. We must remember this great man, Abraham. And if our words and our truth were not right, then why are other people claiming to be the seed of Abraham? Ishmael, the Edomites, the Jewish people today are claiming to be the people that connect with Abraham. But the chosen ones, the seed of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, not Yitzchak, who was Abraham's son, born after Ishmael. Among those communities, the Arabians, they feel that Ishmael was the firstborn. But Yah made it clear and distinct that it would be the seed of Abraham, of Yitzchak, and of Yaakov, who had 12 sons that the covenant would be given to. And it's to us that the Bible, the Holy Scriptures, are speaking. It continues in verse 3 to say,
And I took your father Abraham from beyond the river, and led him throughout all the land of Canaan, and multiplied his seed, and gave him Yitzchak. And I gave unto Yitzchak Yaakov and Esau. And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it. And Yaakov and his children went down into Egypt.
And that's why he separated Esau from Yaakov, because Esau was the firstborn to our father Yitzchak. But the covenant was to go from Abraham, Yitzchak, to Yaakov, and not to Esau, by divine choice and selection of the Holy One of Israel. This is our truth. It's our human right to know and understand this. It goes on to say,
And I sent Moshe and Aharon, and I plagued Egypt, according to that which I did in the midst thereof. And afterward I brought you out. And I brought your fathers out of Egypt. And he came unto the sea. And the Egyptians pursued after your fathers with chariots and with horsemen unto the Red Sea. And when they cried out unto Jehovah, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians, and brought the sea upon them, and covered them. And your eyes saw what I did in Egypt, and he dwelt in the wilderness many days. And I brought you into the land of the Amorites that dwelt beyond the Jordan, and they fought with you, and I gave them into your hand, and he possessed their land, and I destroyed them from before you.
this is black people's history, thousands of years before Europeans were in the continent of Africa. This is what we must know, not modern history and stops there in 1619. It started thousands of years in the continent, the motherland. That's where our sins began, which led us into captivity. And so the Bible tells us. But they make as though everyone in this time was Europeans. They don't want someone like me to tell you that these were your ancestors. This is your history. This is our truth as a people. It continues in verse 9 to say,
Then Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, arose and fought against Israel. And he sent and called Balaam the son of Beor to curse you. But I will not hearken unto Balaam. Therefore he even blessed you. So I delivered you out of his hand. And he went over the Jordan and came unto Jericho. And the men of Jericho fought against you, the Amorite and the Perizzite and the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Girgashite, the Hivite and the Jebusite. And I delivered them into your hand.
all black people, people of pigmentation, these were our enemies. It has nothing to do, as I often tell you, with white or black. It was African nations that the Creator had to oppress us. Our evil was so terrible and so bad that he said, I'm going to scatter you to the four corners of the earth, among people that would not regard the young nor the old, nor have any compassion towards you because of our evil ways. It goes on to say,
And I sent the hornet before you, which drove them out from before you, even the two kings of the Amorites, not with thy sword, nor with thy bow.
we didn't fight against these nations. The Creator fought for us as he's doing right now on the earth. Do not be discouraged. All the things that are happening on the planet, dealing with the elements, are the hand of the Most High in modern times. It's history repeating itself. It's not one Pharaoh. There are many pharaohs that are rejecting the Creator, and that they do not realize and won't accept that the earth is his and the fullness thereof. It goes on to say,
And I gave you a land whereon thou hast not labored, and cities which ye built not, and ye dwelt therein, of vineyards and olive yards, which ye planted not, do you eat.
and we were ungrateful. We slapped and turned our backs on the Creator. We were unfaithful in understanding all that he had done for us as a people. That's why we're being punished, because he's retaliating and repaying us for our evil done against all the good that he did on our behalf. Now, therefore, fear Yah, he says.
And serve him, in sincerity and in truth.
See
And
that
put away
word
the gods.
sincerity and truth? That's what it's all about. This is what this program is about. Sincerity and in truth. But untruthful people do not want to hear the truth. They don't want us to hear the truth, our truth, which is our human right. And that's why we must stand up and understand together. Only when we say together we are Yisrael, Yah is our power, will they not be able to turn one away. They can turn one away, but they cannot turn a nation of people away. Our strength, our power is in our unity. A divided family cannot stand. We are a divided family. This is the truth. And those listening must change their ways towards one another.
And put away the gods which your fathers served beyond the river and in Egypt, and serve ye Jehovah.
You see that? We have so many people that have just come into this understanding that I mentioned earlier. They're listening. They're grateful because they now understand the simplicity of the Bible, which others have made complicated. Truth is not complicated. It's not for scholars that are scientists and someone who has to be a rocket scientist to understand what I'm saying. It's for simple, ordinary people, but it's the highest knowledge on the planet today. There is no knowledge higher than the Holy One of Israel. There's no knowledge higher than what he has left and given to us. It's our wisdom, our knowledge, our understanding in the sight of the nation. It's our truth that's being denied to us as a people.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve Jehovah, choose you this day whom you will serve. Whether the gods which your fathers served that were beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land he dwelled. But as for me and my house, we will serve Jehovah.
See, that's what it's about today. You have to choose. That's why I always tell you, I'm not forcing this on anyone. I'm sharing it. You can deny it. You can accept it. You can doubt it. It's your choice. Tell them whether they hear or whether they forbear is my position and the position of the priesthood that I head in these days and times. Passed down to me from Cohane Levi ben Yisrael. This is the truth that I continue to speak. I've never changed it. It's constant. It's consistent. It's unwavering. It's unchanging. It's loyalty to the Holy One of Israel. In verse 16, Yehoshua, Moses' successor, says,
And the people answered and said, Far be it from us that we should forsake Jehovah to serve other gods. For Jehovah our power, he it is that brought us and our fathers up out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, that did those great signs in our sight, and preserve us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the peoples through the midst of whom we passed. And Jehovah drove out from before us all the peoples, even the Amorites that dwelt in the land. Therefore, we also will serve Jehovah, for he is our power.
The Amorite term represents all the Canaanite nations. That's one word that includes all of the Canaanites, called the Amorites. And Yehoshua said unto the people,
He cannot serve Jehovah, for he is a holy power. He is a jealous power.
He's going to be angry if we serve these other deities. Back then, it hasn't changed. It's consistent. It's never going to change. Yah is Yah in the past. He's presently, and he will be the power of the universe in the future. No one wants us to know and understand this. It's our truth. It's our human right. It's our birthright to have this taught to us. It's the way we develop our children and educate them and dedicating them. By educating, dedicating them to Yah and to his Torah, to the truth. He will not forgive our transgressions or sins at any time. And this is the truth. They don't want us to know the truth, our truth.
If you forsake Yahweh and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you evil and consume you. After that, you're done, you're good.
And you have to know this whether you have a program like this or not. Because, again, only time will tell whether or not the Creator will allow us to come and do a program like this and place it on YouTube. But I will tell you, we will have websites being set up and YouTube programs that will be sent to you, and you can come on those programs and listen, where what I say cannot be stopped, curtailed, denied by them. It goes on to say,
And the people said unto Yehoshua, Nay, but we will serve Yahweh.
I hope we mean it today. I hope we understand our truth is that we must serve Yah. We have no choice. We have a blessing or curse. The curse is upon us right now. The only way to remove it and receive the blessing is to return and serve Yah and live by his laws, his statutes, and his commandments.
And Yehoshua said unto the people, Ye are witnesses against yourselves that ye have chosen you, Yahweh, to
They
serve
spoke
him.
words out of their mouth. You can't say one thing and do another. You cannot speak one thing and behave contrary to the words of righteousness, because they testify against us. The rocks, the stars, the rivers, the oceans, they've heard our words spoken from the days of old, and we were untruthful. And now, because we rejected truth, we live in a world of lies, falsehood, deception. And many of us like it so. Too many of our people don't want to change. They want to keep the status quo. That's why, again, so many of our people are against this program as well. It's not just the enemy. It's our own people that don't understand how important it is for a message such as this program presents every time. Many of our own people are against what's being said. We are a divided family. Unfortunately, our truth concerning what I've just spoken is the truth. We are against our own selves, against our own truth, against our own wisdom, knowledge, and our own understanding.
And they said, We are witnesses. Now therefore put away the strange gods which are among you, and incline your hearts unto Yahweh, the power of Israel. And the people said unto Yehoshua, Yahweh, our power will we serve, and unto his voice will we hearken.
We want to look at two important precepts, and then we'll have some music played for us to meditate on the words of the Holy One of Israel. In the book of 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 through 4, we find this wisdom, the instructions and the message of our King David given unto his son Shlomo.
Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Shlomo his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man, and keep the charge of Yahweh thy power, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, according to that which is written in the law of Moshe, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself, that Jehovah may establish his word, which he spoke concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel.
And that's a beautiful thought. Now let's listen to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 12, a few verses therein, beginning in verse 6. Again, hopefully understanding how important our truth is to us as a people. 1 Samuel, chapter 12, beginning in verse 6.
And Shmuel said unto the people, it is Yah that made Moshe and Aharon, and that brought your fathers up out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may plead with you before Yah concerning all the righteous acts of Yah, which he did to you and to your fathers. When Yaakov was coming to Egypt, then your fathers cried unto Yah, and Yah sent Moshe and Aharon, who brought forth your fathers out of Egypt, and they were made to dwell in this place. But they forgot Yah their power, and he gave them over into the hand of Sisera, captain of the host of Chazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried unto Yah and said, we have sinned, because we have forsaken Yah, and have served the Baalim and the Ashtaroth. But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, and we will serve thee. And Yah sent Yerubbaal and Bedan and Yiftach and Shmuel, and deliver you out of the hand of your enemies on every side. And ye dwelt in safety.
And when it says in Bedan, Bedan means that wasn't a person, that was Shimshon, who was a Danite. And that's why you have to know Yerubbaal, Gideon, that's the history, Yiftach, who the family cast out, his brethren cast him out, until Yiftach got a band of base men that stood up with him, and we had to call him back because we cast him out. And Yah works in mysterious ways, as he did in these examples that is being pointed out by Shemuel, because if you understand this, we asked of Yah a king. Yah was our king. And so he said, I'll give you a king in my anger and take him away in our wrath. We wanted a man to be like the other nations. We did not understand that the creator and maker of heaven and earth was the greatest king we could ever have. There was never a man that could sit on a throne, symbolic, only placed there by Yah, that had the power of Yah to deliver us. We had no savior in a man called a king. It was the maker of heaven and earth that we must understand is our truth. Yah is truth. There is no truth without the Most High. He establishes truth. He is the true and the living power that rules the universe. Yah is truth. He is the truth. A few more verses and we move on.
And when ye saw that Nachash, the king of the children of Ammon, came against you, ye said unto me, nay, but a king shall reign over us, when Yah your power was your king. Now therefore, behold, the king whom you have chosen, and whom you have asked for, and behold, Yah hath set a king over you. If ye will fear Yah and serve him, and hearken unto his voice, and not rebel against the commandment of Yah, and both ye and also the king that reigneth over you be followers of Yah, your power. But if ye will not hearken unto the voice of Yah, but rebel against the commandment of Yah, then shall the hand of Yah be against you and against your fathers. Now
and
therefore,
so we ended there because our point is made that we have to understand the king could not help us. He went into captivity. We read it about Zedekiah and what happened to that line of the sons of Manasseh after the death of Hezekiah, the righteous king in Israel. It's all a simple message. It's not complicated at all. It's our truth that we must understand. It's our truth that no one wants us to know, to hear. They don't want you to hear. And I'm sure they're fearful, knowing that all the programs that I've done, near 100, that there's more truth to come, and they dread it. And that's why they're determined in their own way. But see, one thing about truth, you can never stop it. It will always rise, as it is rising today. Let's go back to 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, and get a little idea of exactly what really did happen. See, did Shlomo listen to the words of his father, David, who was loyal to Yah all his life, save in the matter of Bathsheba.
Now King Shlomo loved many foreign women, besides the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Jehovah said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go among them, neither shall they come unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Shlomo did cleave unto these in love.
He loved the daughters of foreigners, and those foreign women turned Shlomo's heart to serve their deities and build houses to their different deities. He violated the law of marriages, multiplying wives to the ridiculous number of 1,000. Let's read and see our truth, which stares us in the face. This is the mirror. When we look in the Old Testament, the Holy Scriptures, as a people, we're looking in the mirror. This is our reality, our actuality as a people.
And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Shlomo was old, that his wives turned away his heart unto other gods. And his heart was not whole with Jehovah his power, as was the heart of David his father. For Shlomo went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the detestation of the Ammonites. And Shlomo did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and went not fully after Jehovah, as did David his father. Then did Shlomo build a high place for Chemosh, the detestation of Moab, in a mount that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the detestation of the children of Ammon. And so did he for all his foreign wives, who offered and sacrificed unto their deities.
And what happened?
And Jehovah was angry with Shlomo, because his heart was turned away from Jehovah, the power of Israel, who had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other deities. But he kept not that which Jehovah commanded. Wherefore Jehovah said unto Shlomo, For as much as this had been in thy mind, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it, for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
We can stop there. The point is made. If you know your Bible, it was his son Rehoboam, and the enemy that rose up against him was Jeroboam. And of course, that caused the split in the nation, giving Judah that tribe of Yehudah in the south, and the other tribes under Ephraim in the north. That's our history. It's our truth. We've never been united as a people since those days and times. And it was all about being disloyal to the Creator, not understanding how important it was to be loyal to the Holy One of Israel, to keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Let us listen to some of the wise and beautiful music that is good music. We've listened to foolishness as a people, and we love it. Some of the music that we play should never even be allowed to enter people's ears. but the evil ones love it so. They stop truth, but they love to promote lies and falsehood.
המלכים האלה הקים אלוהי השמיים, מלכות שלא תחרב לעולם. מלכות זו לא תעבור לעם אחר, היא תפורר את כל המלכויות האלה ותשים להם גז והיא תקום
And in the days of these kings, your Yahweh has set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
תפורר את כל המלכויות האלה ותשים להם קץ והיא תקום לעולם.
This year, people were given the Nobel Peace Prize for speaking truth, telling truth about various unpopular issues. This year, Nobel or 2021 Nobel Peace Prize awardees Maria Ressa and the Russian laureate Muratov were awarded for speaking the truth about unpopular issues. The only unacceptable truth by those in power is our truth. No one wants us to hear our truth, which is our human right. As I've said before, not even our own people are willing to stop the conspiracy of lies and falsehood against us. I want all of us to understand that nothing has changed. White supremacy doesn't change during the season. A new year will not change anything. I believe this New Year's, and it's amazing that we're even saying it time is being hastened, as Yah said he would do. He would hasten this deliverance in its time. Our escape from mental slavery would be hastened, speeded up as it is being sped up today. And terrible things will be happening on this planet. They've already begun with the turn of the year. Before we entered into this Gentile New Year, the hand of Yah has already been revealed on the planet. It will not get better before things get worse. In the book of Job, the 8th chapter, verse 20 to 22, and then we'll read verse 9 to 12, which says,
Behold, Yah will not cast away an innocent man, neither will he uphold the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughter and thy lips with shouting. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the tent of the wicked shall be no more.
The tent of the wicked shall be no more. Yes, he will again support the truth and be with those that speak the truth. And they that hate thee shall be clothed with shame. Those that hate us as a people, you just watch as time goes on, and you continue to watch the hand of time. Time tells a story. 2022, as they call it, which is really 2022 years from the time they said the Savior was born, who has not returned. This that I speak will bring their lies and falsehood to shame. And those that are part of it and that worship the deities, they will be ashamed as the hand of the Holy One of Israel continues to be placed upon humanity on this planet. I hope that all those who have an ear to hear will understand. This is not a message to a person's skin color. It's to a person's righteous mind and spirit that this message is being brought forth.
Of a truth, I know that it is so. And how can man be just with Yah?
That's truth. No one can be just before the Creator. It's of a truth, Job is saying, I know it is so. What you've just heard in verses 8, that sooner or later, the wicked will fall. Sooner or later, their visitation will take place. And you must know and understand it. How can a man be just with the Creator? How can a people requite him, as it said in Deuteronomy, make us right and make him wrong? We are wrong. Yah is righteous in all his ways. Come sheep.
If one should desire to contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000.
You can't speak with the Creator. You can't box with Yah. Your arms are too short. He is wise in heart
and mighty in strength.
We cannot do anything against the elements that are attacking the planet today. You cannot fight an earthquake. There's no way to defend against a volcano and its lava that's coming into the cities of Spain and across the planet. This message is for humanity. And you know, like Pharaoh, he hardened his heart. And that's why the troubles destroyed Egypt, brought death upon the firstborn. Humanity is hardening their heart to truth. Many of our own people are going to perish because they're hardening their heart against truth and against the servant of the maker of heaven and earth, who have hardened himself against Yah and prospered. Just look into history. Our truth tells the world no one has ever done so. It continues in verse 5.
Who removeth the mountains and they know it not. When he overturneth them in his anger, who shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble? Who commandeth the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars? Who alone stretcheth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea? Who maketh the bear, the Orion, and the Pleiades, and the chambers of the south?
In other words, the planets, and he knows them all by name. The constellations in the heavens is what it's telling us to understand. He rules heaven and earth and the seas. There is no power anywhere, no collective power that can go against the Most High, Ha'elyon, El Shaddai, the Almighty.
Who doeth great things past finding out, yea, marvelous things without number?
Can't count what he does. It's innumerable.
Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not.
He can be right in your presence and you won't even know it, because this is a spirit and not a man that we're dealing with, the one who gives the breath of life to all living souls.
He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he snatcheth away. Who can hinder him?
He take
Who
a
will say
life and
unto
who
him?
can stop him? He take a life. Who can say, what are you doing? He's trying to teach us humility, to understand the Torah. Many of our families are suffering. We're going to continue to suffer because we don't know how to discern right from wrong. When you're doing something, before you take an action, you must consider seriously whether or not it's the hand of Yah. Do not go according to your own understanding. It can lead to your death. There is a way that seemeth right unto a person, but the ways therein are death. And you have to really dig deep in your soul and don't let your anger guide you. It can destroy you. Anger rests in the bosom of a fool. Think deeply before you take an action and do it. Consider Yah in all your ways. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your steps. Truth, our truth, cannot be denied by any of us. Who will say unto him, what doest thou? Some sheep. That ends our precept. Todah Rabbah. Let's move on to thoughts of praise, because that's part of what we must do. See, praising Yah is not just a song. The way you praise him is with your obedience, with your righteous actions. That's how you praise the Creator. You praise him with an honest relationship with people, speaking the truth with your spouse, speaking the truth with your children, speaking the truth with your parents as children. That's how you get a blessing, by being an honest person. I was told as a child, honesty is the best policy. It's the way you live your life every single day. It's not about what people see you doing. What's more important to me is what I do when you don't see me. That's what's important to me. To know that you're doing the right thing without the camera on you, without the lights on you, that you're living sincerely before your Maker. It's our truth. It's this truth that we have denied and we have rejected that has brought all of this trouble upon us as a people. And so I hope and pray that for once it's time to accept our truth. The reason why we don't have a human right, because we rejected truth. Yes, we have a human right, but we're not given the human right because Yah took it away from us. They have labeled us in some places 3/5 of a man. We don't even have a flag in the United Nations. We're not reckoned among the nations. We have to comprehend our truth. You cannot deny this. You can deny it if you want to, but it will follow you. The evil, the curse will pursue you as it has done for thousands of years. We have to understand it. Praising Yah, Psalm 15 gives us a path that we must all follow, a standard that we must all follow. We've all fallen short of this praise, which is a living praise. It's not a talk, it's not a written document, it's a behavior to be applied. La'asoktam, to do the Lord, to live by the Lord, is what we were instructed to do. Psalm 15, verses 1 through 5 says, a psalm of King David.
Yahweh, who shall sojourn in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell upon thy holy mountain? He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh truth in his heart.
Truth in your heart. Every day you have to be that person. It's called Yehi, to be a certain way, to exist and to live in truth in your inward part, and then execute it before those that are witnesses to your righteousness. That's what life is about. Honesty, not being a hypocrite, not holding one thing in your heart and mind, and not speaking truthfully, straightforward. People disagree, but you should be honest, and you should be able to think and discern whether you are right or someone else is right. That's what people have to be able to do. It can seem like what you're doing is right and what you're thinking, but only Yah can show you whether it is or whether it isn't. We don't have any real understanding. It's Yah that teaches us. It has to be Yah that guides us. He that hath no slander upon his tongue. That's what Yah is watching. He's always watching us to see what and who we really are. He tests us. He put things and troubles and things before you so that you can show your real colors. That's what truth is all about. Your actuality, your reality as a person. Who are you really? Yah will find out concerning all things. When it's all said and done, remember the law, his commandments, and keep them. That's what it's all about. It says in verse 3, that have no slander upon his tongue. It goes on to say,
nor doeth evil to his fellow, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor.
That's right. He's telling you all of these things have to be applied. In whose eyes it says,
a vile person is despised, but he honoreth them that fear Yahweh. He that swear to his own hurt and change it not.
That's a powerful individual. That's a powerful individual. Even if it's going to get you a mock as a child, you still going to tell the truth and not change it. See, it starts in your youth. It starts with children developing this type of spirit and mind. And as you grow, some people get there earlier than others. There are people that go to old age and they still haven't come to that position of honesty and sincerity. The worst lie you can tell is to lie to yourself. He that putteth not out his money upon interest, that you don't make everything about materialism. You can listen to the great ones amongst our people, amongst anyone in the earth today. Truth is covering the planet. All the rich people will tell you, my money don't mean anything. My children have rebelled against me, they'll tell you. I can't stop calamities that happen. You can be on a plane and your plane falls, your money can't save you. Your wealth cannot deliver you from any troubles that Yah put in this earth. But righteousness is a defense. This is what Yah is trying to teach us as a people. That don't be so concerned with gaining riches in an evil and an unrighteous manner. The earth is Jehovah's and the fullness thereof. As King Dawid said in his prayer, when I give you an offering, I'm only giving you back what already belongs to you. Nothing. We don't own nothing. You don't even own your own spirit. It's a gift. Life is a gift from the Most High. He says in the 5th verse continually,
He that putteth not out his money on interest, nor taketh a bribe against the innocent, he that doeth these things shall never be moved.
Yes, and so many people are taking bribes today. They'll take some money and have a person's life taken because of a bribe. So many governments and countries have leaders and politicians can be bribed out of decisions of righteousness. And this is why the trouble is never going to stop until all humanity, every knee bows unto the Most High, until every tongue swears by the Maker of heaven and earth. These troubles will continue to mount up until man humbles himself before the Creator. In Psalm 25, we'll read some of those verses as much as he can, considering time, and see again where we get the message that is being shared today.
Unto thee, O Jehovah, do I lift up my soul. O my power, in thee have I trusted. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. Yea, none that wait for thee shall be ashamed. They shall be ashamed that deal treacherously without cause. Show me thy ways, O Jehovah. Teach me thy paths. Guide me in thy truth and teach me. For thou art the power of my salvation. For thee do I wait all the day.
And there are many people out there that are probably saying, what a beautiful song. It's your song. It's that truth that he's speaking about. And so many of you have contacted me and let me know how appreciative, grateful you are for this teaching and for this truth, for this guidance that is being shared with you. And I will find a way, and we will be contacting you to let you know the various places that only those who have been given the entrance and the registration to come into the program will be able to hear. And then I can share with you many things that I've never shared with you, and that some I even fear saying. They're prophecies and things that I've never shared because I know how the enemy will attack if these things were to be shared publicly. There are some things, like Malcolm said, they must be spoken behind closed doors, especially when you're speaking to the family. Everything is not for the public. That is why I don't do many things publicly, and why, as of this point, until Yah shows me otherwise, I will not be speaking on the Shabbat day in the hearing of the public. So again, I pray that Yah will bless you all, that when I do these classes during the week, I intend to be doing beginners Hebrew classes. We'll be notifying you of how to register for them and sharing many other messages that I've stated that I would not share publicly. So Most High is the guide that guides me, the force that shields and protects me. And so I hope you will understand that we are not abandoning you. We're just using the wisdom of the times to be guided in a way that will allow us to achieve our goals and fulfill the will of the Holy One of Israel. Remember, O Yah, thy compassions and mercy, it says.
And thy mercies, for they have been from of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me. For thy goodness' sake, O Yahweh. Good and upright is Yahweh. Therefore doth he instruct sinners in the way. He guided the humble in justice, and he teacheth the humble his way.
This is our truth that I'm sharing with you. This psalm is our psalm. You can claim it. It came from your forefathers. They left us this. This is our inheritance. This is our culture. This is our identity as a people.
All the paths of Yahweh are mercy and truth, unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. For thy name's sake, O Yahweh, pardon mine iniquity, for it is great.
Pardon our iniquity, for it is great as a people. That's what we want him. Salak lanu. Tikapir lanu lakol katotenu. Awonenu. Tishenu. Kod haraim hashigagim hashirasinu be'eneka. Meyamim avarim ad hadakwa hazeh. Forgive us, O Yah, of all of our sins, our iniquities, our transgressions, our errors against you from the days of old unto this precious moment on this holy Shabbat day. Tamshi.
What man is he that feareth Yahweh? Him will he instruct in the way that he should choose.
What man or woman, what child, what elder, it's all of that in what man. Don't think it's man alone. It's what human being is he that feareth the Creator, and he will instruct him in the way that Yah choose. It goes on to say,
his soul shall abide in prosperity, and his seed shall inherit the land. The counsel of Yahweh is with them that fear him, and his covenant to make them know it. Mine eyes are ever toward Yahweh, for he will bring forth my feet out of the net. Turn thee unto me, and be gracious unto me, for I am solitary and afflicted.
As a people, many of us feel this way. We feel that we're alone. That's why you play solitaire, you're playing a card game by yourself, because you feel hurt. Your mind is troubled because of all the evil and the things that are against us on this planet. Even our truth being told, which is our human right, is denied us as a people. The troubles of our hearts are enlarged every day. Every one of us knows this is truth. It's our truth. And it should be our right to speak and to share it with one another so that we can change our ways and turn the curse into a blessing. It continues and said, the troubles of our hearts, minds are enlarged.
Oh, bring thou me out of my distresses. See mine affliction and my travail, and forgive all my sins.
That's why I do these programs. It's out of love, because I know I've lived long enough to know the hurt and the pain of my people. I've seen it on 5 continents. I know it's everywhere. It's no different in North America than South America. It's no different in the Caribbean than it is in Africa or Asia. It's no different in Europe. This is the way that Yah has led us, and this is what he's given us as a portion because we've rejected truth, our truth, to leave these deities that are no deities alone and to live righteously by the instructions of his covenant, the Torah given to Moshe on Mount Sinai. Consider
how many are mine enemies, and the cruel hatred wherewith they hate me. Oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I have taken refuge in thee. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, because I wait for thee.
We wait on you.
Redeem, Yis-
Come see.
redeem
Israel.
Yisrael, O Elohim, out of all his troubles.
That's my prayer, that Yah will deliver us all out of all of our troubles. And he will. We just have to call upon him, stay aligned with our righteous purpose as a people. He will deliver us. Let's look at Psalm 31, a few verses there before we listen to some more music and prepare the end of our message for this day. Again, a message that's so important. This part of that psalm, give a record. Let's read Psalm 31.
In thee, O Yehovah, have I taken refuge. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in my righteousness. Incline thine ear unto me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou to me a rock of refuge, even a fortress of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Bring me forth out of the net that they have hidden for me. For thou art my stronghold. Into thy hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Yehovah, thou power of my truth.
Power of my truth. This is my truth. This is our truth. Again, there are those that hate us, but I hate them that regard lying vanities.
But I trust in Yehovah.
Because you're not for those that are against Yah and that speak against the truth of his word. We are biologically enemies because the truth and the lie cannot dwell together. Honesty and falsehood, that's why many marriages are ended, because one party is righteous and the other is unrighteous. One party is truthful and the other is untruthful. One party is faithful and the other one is not faithful. They can't dwell together. It goes on to say,
I will be glad and rejoice in thy loving kindness, for thou hast seen mine affliction. Thou hast taken cognizance of the troubles of my soul, and thou hast not given me over into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a broad place. Be gracious unto me, O Yehovah, for I am in distress.
Be gracious unto us, to our people, to my people, because they are in distress.
Mine eye wasteth away with vexation, yea, my soul and my body.
I'm a deep thinker when you don't see me. And it hurts, it's painful to see what's happening to us, what has happened to us, what continues to happen to us. That's why I have done these programs, not to hurt, not to divide, to help us. But there are those that they despise the truth. It goes on to say,
for my life is spent in sorrow, and my years in sighing. My strength failed because of mine iniquity, and my bones are wasted away. Because of all mine adversaries, I am become a reproach. Yea, unto my neighbors exceedingly, and a dread to mine acquaintance, that they that see me flee from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind.
And this is speaking to a nation of people. We're like invisible. We're like a dead people. Out of the minds, no one wants to consider us. We're like an unused, a useless vessel. For I've heard the whispering of many, it says. People speak about you behind your back because you're telling the truth. You want to do good and you want to do what's right.
Terror on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But as for me, I have trusted in thee, O Yehovah. I have said, thou art my power. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me in thy loving kindness.
Us as a people, we all want this. We know we do, because we all are in their net. O Yah, let us not be ashamed.
For I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed. Let them be put to silence in the netherworld.
Turn the table is what the psalmist is saying.
Let the lying lips be dumb.
Let those that tell the lies and the falsehood be dumb, and let the truth be spoken, that speak arrogantly against the righteous.
With pride and contempt. Oh, how abundant is thy goodness, where thou hast laid up for them that fear thee.
Man, Yehovah is good. Yah is good. He's great. In spite of all the trouble, you know Yah is good.
Which thou hast wrought for them that take their refuge in thee, in the sight of the sons of men.
He makes you feel good in spite of all the troubles. You don't be down, you're up because you know truth, you know Yah, and he's the one that's within you that doesn't allow any of that to affect you. Thou hidest them in the covert of thy presence.
From the plottings of man, thou concealest them in a pavilion from the strife of tongues.
Nothing the people say about you should ever bother you when you know that your position is a righteous one. Blessed be Yah, the psalmist says.
For he had shown me his wondrous loving kindness in an entrenched city.
As for me,
I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee.
Many of you out there, this is your psalm. It's the psalm passed down as your birthright. This is your inheritance, the words that we're reading in the Bible, the words that we're reading in this part of the Bible, because we have to separate the lies from the truth and know that those Greek writings have nothing to do with us. We don't need it. There's nothing in there that can save us or help us. Yah gave us everything we need, and here it is. It says, oh, love Yah, because Yah loves us with an everlasting love.
Oh, love Yehovah, all ye godly ones. Yehovah preserveth the faithful, and plentifully repayeth him that acteth haughtily. Be strong, and let your heart take courage, all ye that wait for Yehovah.
Yes, all ye, and there's many of us that wait. Let's listen to another song, beautiful music, lift up our minds and hearts, and then we'll come back with the closing part of our message.
Lord, we pray to you in the holy tongue. Once again, your children stand before you, Yah. Back in our own land, you've given us something to sing about. Keep us in your tender care. Set free all your children scattered everywhere. Let me not be ashamed. Let not
Baruch Yah, he's great. It's again a blessing to know him, a blessing to know his Torah, a blessing to walk in the path that he set for us as a people. To know our truth is a blessing. It's our human right. I've always wanted, from the day I found truth and was led to truth, I've always wanted to tell it to the whole world. Even when I had no platform like this is what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to be a Cohane in a building. I wanted to speak this before the world. In Psalm 117, it's the shortest psalm in the whole book of Psalms. It used to be the psalm of the Israelite Institute of Shabbat Yisrael. And the children said this each and every day that we met. Psalm 117 reads on this wise.
O praise Yah, all ye nations. Laud him, all ye peoples. For his mercy is great towards us, and the truth of Yah endureth forever. Hallelujah.
The truth of Yah. The word truth in Ivrit, the Hebrew language, is emet. The truth endureth forever. And so there's no stopping it. It wasn't stopped thousands of years. It will not be stopped at this time, today, or any time. Truth will always rise and continue on. Truth will outlive every human being, every generation. And so I want to take you to a truth of history, because time perhaps would not allow us to cover all the other, or the few precepts we had. We're going to Daniel, the book of Daniel, the prophet, chapter 2, and we begin in verse 1. And hopefully, prayerfully, we'll understand this is our truth. It's a truth that the prophet spoke to the nations. Everything that he said came to pass. It was about a great image that the great king Nebuchadnezzar saw when he had a dream. And this dream has unfolded into an actuality, a reality, letting him know that the end of days and the kingdoms that would come into earth would come in succession of an image that began from the head down to the toes. Let's read and comprehend this truth, our truth, which was shared by Daniel, being shown his dream, Nebuchadnezzar's dream, by the Most High. And so he was able to give him the truth, our truth. It says in the first verse of the second chapter of Daniel, Yah, he said, is my judge, the prophet Daniel.
And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, and his spirit was troubled, and his sleep broke from him. Then the kings commanded him to call the magicians, and the enchanters, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, to tell the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king.
And the king called Nebuchadnezzar was reigning over the Chaldeans. There are other kingdoms of Babylon that will be after him, and we'll read about them shortly. But this is the Chaldeans, and the days that the Chaldeans were in power over the land of Babel, called confusion, or later known as Babylon. And so he is troubled in these dreams. And so he makes a decree that, unlike any decree of a king prior to this.
And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit is troubled to know the dream. Then spoke the Chaldeans to the king in Aramaic, O king, live forever.
And
Tell thy servant the dream.
Aramaic is the language from which the Hebrew language came. This is the place where Abraham originally left because of the idol worship. And you can see thousands of years later, Nebuchadnezzar and all of the Chaldeans, Babylon, they're still worshiping those idols that Yah took us out from that place. Terah, Abraham's father, this is where he was originally. And so this is our truth that we must understand.
O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will declare the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is certain with me. If you make known unto me the dream and the interpretation thereof.
It says, if you make not known, read it again. If you make not known.
The thing is certain with me. If you make not known unto me the dream and the interpretation thereof, he shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
This is truth again. People would not want to accept, but this was a truth. This is not a fable. This is an actual reality in the history of the people of Babylon. Present day Iran is where this territory was.
But if he declare the dream and the interpretation thereof, he shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Only declare unto me the dream and the interpretation thereof.
So he wants them to tell him not only interpretation, what the dream means, tell me what I dreamed is what he's asking. I'm not going to tell you that because you'll make up an interpretation. I want you to tell me what I dreamed and then tell me, then I'll know that you really know the interpretation.
They answered the second time and said, let the king tell his servants a dream, and we will declare the interpretation. The king answered and said, I know a truth, that he will gain time, inasmuch as he see the thing is certain with me.
That I'm definitely going to cut you in pieces. Because see, when the king of Babylon makes a decree, it cannot be altered. That's a law in their culture. He cannot alter. He already said you'll be cut in pieces. And he's saying, no, you're not going to stall time. This is going out very quickly. Get ready to be cut up into pieces.
That if you make not known unto me the dream, there is but one law for you. And you have agreed together to speak before me lying and corrupt words.
See, a lot of people lie. You see, he said, till the time be changed. He's saying, no, I know you're going to lie. See, lying is nothing new. But they didn't have the truth. When you don't have the truth, you can't speak the truth. Tamshi.
Only tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can declare unto me the interpretation thereof.
Tamshi, Bimira now.
The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can declare the king's matter. For as much as no great and powerful king had asked such a thing of any magician or enchanter or Chaldean.
Nebuchadnezzar don't care about them other kings. He knows he's ruling Babylon. He rules over many countries, Egypt and all of them. They were under his rule. So he's not concerned. He knows that you better tell me the dream and the interpretation. And they're saying it's a hard thing that the king asked. You better believe, because some things are too hard for human beings.
And it is a hard thing that the king asked it. And there's none other that can declare it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
See that little G up there, and gods know it's only one God. They didn't have the understanding to say it truthfully. They can only speak in falsehood because there's no truth in them. Just like it says, if you speak not according to the Torah, it's no truth in you. And in the Torah, you can't have other gods. It's Shema Yisrael, Yehovah Eloheinu, Yehovah Echad. And if you go anywhere else, there's no truth in you. And he's letting you know this is true. Whoever has this truth, whoever this power is, his dwelling is not with flesh. It's not made gods that made of men's hand, silver and gold. That's the understanding. It continues in verse 12 on this wise.
For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon.
Do it right now. I'm tired of this talking.
So the decree went forth, and the wise men were to be slain, and they sought Daniel and his companions to be slain. Then Daniel returned answer with counsel and discretion, to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, who was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, wherefore is the decree so peremptory from the king?
In other words, why there's no delay? Why is there no time for us to try to figure out something? Why is this thing going forth so quickly?
Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he will give him time, that he might declare unto the king the interpretation.
And he's going to pray now. See, in the time of trouble, you can't panic. You go to the Most High. It says in verse 17.
Then Daniel went to his house and made a thing known to Ananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions.
That was his
they
real
ask
name.
the mercy of
These
the
are their real
heaven.
names. Their real names was Conaniah, Mishael, and Azariah. Conaniah meaning Yah's kind, from the word Canaan. Mishael and Azariah also being again those Hebraic names that they had. And of course, we all know that they changed their names Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because that's what they did with us. It's our truth. It's not that they just started changing our names. They did it even in ancient times. These are black people changing our names. Tamshik in verse 18.
That they might ask the mercy of the power of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his companions should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a vision of the night. Then Daniel blessed the power of heaven. Daniel spoke and said, blessed be the name of Elohim, from everlasting even unto everlasting, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know his understanding.
Yes.
He revealeth deep and secret things. He knoweth that which is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him.
He knows everything. There's nothing hidden from the Most High. Ein basotir be'enei Adonai Yehovah.
I thank thee and praise thee, O thou power of my fathers, who had given me wisdom and might, and has now made known unto me what we desired of thee. For thou hast made known unto me the king's matter.
And let's go now to verse 37, 31 first, please, to pick it up. Time not permitting us to read the entire chapter. In verse 31, we want to continue there and again go to our point of going to this portion.
Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This image, which was mighty and whose brightness was surpassing, stood before thee, and the appearance thereof was terrible.
We're in verse 31 at this time, I believe. Take it from verse 31, Vavakasha Ot Pa'am. Now.
Yes, sir. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This image, which was mighty and whose brightness was surpassing, stood before thee, and the appearance thereof was terrible.
And Daniel has been shown this by the Most High, so the king knows he has it. He's the one who knows the truth. He's probably astonished at the fact that he's pointing out that it was a great image. Tamshi.
37.
Verse 32, continue. Verse 32, continue at 32.
As for that image, its head was of fine gold, its breast and its arms of silver, its belly and its thighs of brass, its legs of iron, its feet a part of iron and a part clay. Thou sawest still that a stone was got out without hands, which smote the image upon its feet, that they were of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces.
And this is the understanding of what that all means. The head of gold on that image represented the Babylonian kingdom. The breasts and the arms of silver represented the Medes Persian Empire. The belly and the thighs of brass represented the Greek Empire. Each of those empires came in succession. Babylon fell to the Medes. The Chaldeans no longer ruled Babylon. The Medes and the Persian Empire was of silver, but it was weaker than was the throne of Nebuchadnezzar. And then we had, of course, the Greek Empire that came up representing the belly, the thighs that were of brass, and the legs of iron, and the feet mixed with the clay, part iron and part clay. That represented the Roman Empire because it was an empire that did not mesh. Rome could not get the other Europeans in that time to come under Rome. That's why we find today that Rome is under the papacy today. That's in the 7th chapter that lets us know and understand that a spiritual or a church would raise up. It would no longer be a military power. That's why the Vatican is in itself a nation independent of Italy, called the Vatican. And so all of this history, our history, which is the truth, it will not be changed. You are that stone cut out without hands. It's the children of Israel that smote the image, as it's going to say, because Babylon has been successively passed on from one kingdom to another, weaker each and every time that the confusion was passed down. It continues and says,
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, so that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth.
That's your
This
future.
is the dream.
That's our future, our truth, our birthright, that what we, whoever is in that remnant, this is what you're going to experience and inherit. This is the dream.
And we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
And let's listen to Daniel expound on its interpretation.
Thou, O king, king of kings, unto whom the power of heaven had given the kingdom, the power and the strength and the glory. And wheresoever the children of men, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of heaven dwell, hath he given them into thy hand, and hath made thee to rule over them all. Thou art the head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Yes, that's the Persian Median Empire, the silver, and as we've said again, that brass, the Greek Empire, and those toes. Remember, the Roman Empire broke into 10 different kingdoms, as it's expounded on more in the 7th chapter. And those are the nations you know today. All of those, the Orthodox, and all of those nations, France, and again, the Saxons, all of those nations, they have ancient names. You know the modern one. They were called the French. They call them France today. This is what our history, our truth reveals. This is the truth they do not want us to know and understand. With so many truths, Yah being one of our truths, his law being another one of our truths, the prophets and what they spoke unto us about our iniquities, another part of our truths. It's not just our truth, it's our truths. We had many truths that were consistent, aligned with the covenant, which is the Torah. It goes on and says in verse 40.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. So as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and beateth down all things, and as iron that crusheth all these, shall it break in pieces and crush. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay, and part of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom. But there shall be in it and of the firmness of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
There will be part strong and part weak, part broken. Come see.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so part of the kingdom shall be strong, and part thereof broken. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves by the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron doth not mingle with clay. And in the days of those kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, nor shall a kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, but it shall stand forever.
You are that kingdom. We are that kingdom. And it's our truth that is breaking them in pieces, consuming them. And it shall stand forever because the truth shall stand forever. It goes on to say in verse 45.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out in the mountain without hands, and that it broke in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpreting thereof sure.
Notice that God in that words, the capital G-O-D, that's Yah. And he is the invisible one, cut out without hands. It's the Spirit, not by power, nor by might, but by the Spirit of the Holy One of Israel, that we are going to rise, and this truth is going to rise with us. It's synonymous with our raising up, our minds raising up, the truth raising up in our minds, in our spirits, in our hearts.
Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they shall offer an offering and sweet odors unto him. The king spoke unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is, that your power is a power of God, and the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets.
Notice how, look at how all the capital G's and the little g represent those no gods, but he says yours is the power of the powers over those little powers, whether they're powers of men or presidents or whomsoever. And he said, Yah of kings and the revealer of secrets, seeing thou hast been able to reveal this secret. Only the Most High could have revealed to Nebuchadnezzar. None of his wise men, none of those men that were men and did not have a connection with the maker of heaven and earth could have told him what was in the vision of the night. And so it's our history. It's our truth. And it's our right, our human right, to be taught it, to understand it in our return to Yah. And no one will be able to stop it.
Then the king made Daniel great, and gave him many great gifts, and made him to rule over the whole province of Babylon, and to be chief prefect over all the wise men of Babylon.
He didn't make him great, Yah made him great. That's who made Daniel great. So you have to read between the lines. And Daniel didn't forget his companions. Here's how and when they changed their names. If you had read from chapters following chapter 2, you would read and understand that later their names would change to these Babylonian names.
And Daniel requested of the king, and he appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel was in the gate of the king.
Because the king is keeping that wisdom very close to him. We end out with Zechariah, the 8th chapter. We're going to ask our reader to try and read it quickly. Our time is running. And this is the blessing. This is our future. And it's our human right to know that this too is our truth, a beautiful future. In the 8th chapter, it begins and says,
And the word of Yah of hosts came, saying, Thus saith Yah of hosts, I am jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I am jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith Yah, I will return to Zion and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of Yah of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith Yah of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women sit in the broad places of Jerusalem, every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the broad places of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the broad places thereof. Thus saith Yah of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in those days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith Yah of hosts? Thus saith Yah of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith Yah of hosts, let your hands be strong, ye that hear in these days these words from the mouth of the prophets, that were in the day that the foundation of the house of Yah of hosts was laid, even the temple, that it might be built. For before those days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in, because of the adversary. For I set all men every one against his neighbor. But now I will not be unto the remnant of this people as in the former days, saith Yah of hosts. For as the seed of peace, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their due. And I will cause the remnant of this people to inherit all these things. And it shall come to pass that as ye were a curse among the people, as ye were a curse among the peoples, O house of Yehudah and house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith Yah of hosts, as I propose to do evil unto you, when your fathers provoked me, saith Yah of hosts, and I repented not, so again do I propose in these days to do good unto Jerusalem and to the house of Yehudah. Fear ye not. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth with his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you devise evil in your hearts against his neighbor. And love no false oath, for all these are things that I hate, saith Yah. And the word of Yah of hosts came unto me, saying, Thus saith Yah of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Yehudah joy and gladness and cheerful season. Therefore, love ye truth and peace. Thus saith Yah of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come peoples and inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to entreat the favor of Yah, to seek Yah of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many peoples and mighty nations shall come to seek Yah of hosts in Jerusalem, and to entreat the favor of Yah. Thus saith Yah of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all the languages of the nation, shall even take hold of the skirt of him that is a Judite, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Yah is with you.
See how they stuck that lie in there? There's nothing about a Jew. It's Yehudah, Judah, that they will grab the skirts of, meaning the skirts of the people of Israel, saying, I will go with you, for I've heard that the truth is with you. May the Most High bless you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, coupling that with righteousness. Yevareka Yehovah Yishmareka. Yair Yehovah Panayo Aleka Wikuneka. Yisa Yehovah Panayo Aleka. Oyasim the Ka Shalom. May Yah bless you and keep you. May Yah cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So shall the Cohane place my name upon the children of Israel, and I, Yahweh, Yah, will bless them. Amen.
And they should put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Sing
Wafamidin tu oman Israel so Namidia Mishirawo Wafamidin tu oman Israel so Namidia Mishirawo